Welcome back. Let's head off now to Sports Studio where Ayotune Balogun is standing by.
Many thanks, Harriet. The Super Eagles of Nigeria had a light training session this evening at the Adoke Emesiamaka Stadium in Port Harcourt, River State, after returning to the country. NFF Vice President Shaya Kiwumi has hailed the fighting spirit and commitment of the Super Eagles in that game against Swaziland and the 2018 first leg preliminary World Cup qualifier, where they had to settle for a goalless draw. But he believes that the coaching crew and players will learn from the mistakes from that first leg and score more goals in the return leg on Tuesday, November the 17th. Nigeria's under-23 team national team coach Samson Siasia has invited 4 members of the FIFA Under-17 World Cup winners to camp in preparation for this month's Africa Under-23 Cup of Nations in Senegal. The invited players are captain of the side, Kelechi Nwankeli, the tournament top scorer, Victor Osimhen, and the 2 wing-backs, John Lazarus and Udochukwu Anumudu. Siasia said he's been monitoring the progress of the players and is quite impressed with their performance in Chile. The German national football team has returned home after terrorist attacks at the Stade de France in Paris. Now, officials of the team say they had a grueling wait locked inside the stadium changing rooms after the France-Germany friendly was marred by the coordinated assault by gunmen and bombers that killed 127 people at locations across Paris. Team manager Olivier Bierhoff, arriving back with a shocked team, said their thoughts and hearts go to the victims, of course, their families as well. Meanwhile, the French Football Federation has confirmed that the friendly against England at Wembley on Tuesday will go ahead as planned. Well, there are doubts as to whether the game will hold after a series of terrorist attacks in Paris. The Federation made the decision to play the friendly in show of defiance against the attack. Now, the team will travel to London to honour the friendly in continuation of the Euro 2016 Championship preparations, which they are hosting. And that's a wrap on sports news. Harriet will be back with the rest of the news at 10.
Thanks, Ayo. It's yet another victory in the war against Islamist militants IS as US airstrikers killed the leader of the Islamic State group in Libya, Iraqi national Abu Nabil, also known as Wissam Njam Abzaid, was a long-time al-Qaeda operative and the senior ISIL leader in Libya. The Pentagon says the strike took place on Friday night, but the location was not revealed. The Pentagon said the strike demonstrated that it would go after ISIL leaders wherever they operate. And worried over the rapidly escalating violence in Burundi, Belgium has advised its citizens to leave the East African country. The European Union says it is also cutting staff levels in the country because of the rising risk of violence. The EU adds that it will temporarily evacuate its employees' families and part of the non-essential staff. The cycle of violence began with protests against President Pierre Nkurunziza's bid for a 3rd term. At least 240 people have been killed since the demonstrations began in April. There are fears of a Rwandan-style genocide in Burundi, which also has a history of tensions between Hutu and Tutsi ethnic groups. And the main news again. The death toll in the terrorist attacks on the French capital, Paris, has risen to at least 129, just as President François Hollande has described the horrific incident, which left over 300 people wounded, as an act of war. And Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari has joined other world leaders in condemning the killings in Paris and has described the violence as dastardly and heinous. That's it on News at 10 for tonight. Many thanks for staying with us. I'm Harriet Agbini. Have a great night and a great weekend.